Want to stop juggling spreadsheets, calendars, and a dozen apps just to run your rentals? Logify makes it easy. It's an all-in-one toolkit for hosts. Build a direct booking website, automate guest messaging, and keep all your channels in sync. Running your rental business your way has never been simpler. And for Good Morning Hospitality listeners, you can get 20% off any yearly plan with code GMH20. Just check the link in the show notes to get started today.
Welcome to Good Morning Hospitality, your one-stop shop for the latest news, noteworthy trends, and thought-provoking discussions across the industry. From hotels and short-term rentals to all things travel and hospitality, you'll find each episode equips you with the information that you need to start your week. Join us on Good Morning Hospitality every Monday, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, everyone. Excited today to be able to bring you some breaking news. I'm joined by the CEO of Stasher, Jacob Wedderburn-Day, for this very exciting news that we've just learned that Stasher have acquired US luggage storage business, StoreMe. Jacob, how are you, buddy? Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. No, thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here, and great job on the pronunciation.
Well, look, I've known you for many years, so I should know how to pronounce your surname by this point, wouldn't you? So you kept this one quiet. So tell us more about the deal. So you've acquired, I guess, a fairly big competitor in the US, right?
Yeah, it was. It's a deal that's been on the cards for a while, so it was really nice to get to this point and kind of see it through to its conclusion. So Pete has been working on StoreMe for a long time, actually. It was a project of his, like, before COVID, I remember, and that was I think when we first made contact with him. On principle, we like to try and have a friendly relationship with all competitors where possible, just because I suppose we always have one eye on the possibility of, like, companies coming together and joining forces, which is nice. It's what's happened here. So he's done a great job in America, and he's connected some really valuable locations onto his network. So yeah, with this deal, they all sort of join part of the Stasher brand. StoreMe Tech is pointing to Stasher, and it's a really useful roll up of the services for us, and massively should help us grow in America.
Before I ask you to tell our audience who aren't that familiar with who Stasher are.
Oh, sorry. I really didn't give much context.
No, that's fine. I didn't ask you that question, but I guess, but before we go into that, I guess it would be good to clarify. You are also in the US, right? But this just increases your footprint dramatically in the US.
That's it. And the US is a market that we've wanted to go after harder for a while. So this has given us a real jump there. But
great.
Yes, we were present there anyway.
Tell us a bit more about Stasher and a bit about the luggage.
Yeah, of course. So the idea behind Stasher is a fairly simple one. The problem is familiar. You check out, your flight's not till later. You need somewhere to leave your stuff in that window of time so that you can maximize the enjoyment of your trip. And with Stasher, what we do is we let you connect to a shop or a hotel that has extra storage space, and you can store your bags. You can use our app, you can use our website. It's a win-win for the hotel or shop as well. It's a great way for them to make ancillary revenue and basically put that unused space to work. So it's a marketplace that combines all these benefits.
Brilliant. Now, obviously, I've known you for a number of years as you've been growing this market. You've acquired StoreMe. How many more acquisitions that are out there that you need to make before you have the whole market?
There's still many small players and then a few pretty big ones. So I think it'll be a long time before a sort of monopoly emerges. But certainly, yeah, this was a deal we were super excited about, because I think Pete has built something really good. He took a bit of a different approach to StoreMe. He sort of went app first. So he built some really sort of interesting tech around it. And he's got some great hosts. But yeah, there are plenty of other ones that we've got our eyes on. And in the press release that we put out, we mentioned, for example, there were two that we did in the last couple of years, one in Latin America and one in Australia, which was Airkeep in Latin America and Mind My Bag in Australia. So as you can see, we're going after the four corners of the world. There's got to be one in Asia next.
And tell me, why did you feel this was an acquisition that you wanted to make, and why now?
So I think one of the things that evolved from the two prior deals we did was we really worked out a formula for making these deals work for all parties. I suppose it's that sort of negotiating principle of, it's not about one party feeling like they've won. It's about seeing if you can get to a kind of win-win arrangement. And certainly in those deals, we knew what the founders who'd started their companies were looking to get out of it. And we knew for us, the best process for kind of bringing on their assets and making it work as a combined entity. So I think our experience with those two gave us a lot of confidence that we could do the same thing in America with StoreMe. And in terms of why now, I suppose it was just, it was when those business interests kind of aligned. And to put that in more personal terms, in Peter's case, he'd got to the point where he felt he'd taken it a good distance, but he was really interested in the consulting business that he was building on the side. And I think he got to the point where he really wanted to pursue that, but he didn't, he didn't want to lose what he'd worked on. He'd got it to a good level, and he wanted a good custodian for the business that he'd built. So I suppose for us, I mean, it's a deal we've wanted to do for a long time. And it was like when that timing worked for both of us, and we, hit a price that was mutually agreeable. That was why now. That was when the timing was right.
Obviously, bag storage, typically more of a feature in an urban market. Is that fair to say?
100%. Yeah.
Do you feel that the regulatory headwinds give you more opportunity to hoover up competitors who might be struggling in that environment?
And just to be clear, the headwinds you're talking about are the sort of short-term rental ones, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. And I suppose you're particularly referring to the stuff in New York, I guess, or the kind of North American market with regard to this acquisition. It's a really valid point and probably quite a relevant one here, because I know for a lot of players, SEO is like one of the big channels, but because Pete started app first, it was App Store SEO, not sort of web SEO, that was driving his stuff, and he had some really good partnerships. But as that market gets squeezed with the regulations you're describing, you're absolutely right that would put more of a squeeze on that kind of business, I would assume. So yeah, I can see why that could have actually sort of factored into it. In terms of the general market, I would say, obviously Airbnb is a major driver, and other vacation rental players are a significant driver with the kind of partnerships traffic we see. There's actually something that's been exciting us a lot recently, and to tangent slightly, we've always seen events be a big driver, and we've seen the Taylor Swift effect has been touching even luggage storage, which, I didn't even quite believe myself when I first saw it, but wherever she's gone, we've seen ridiculous spikes in traffic, genuinely following what she's done. So even with regulatory headwinds, that is just to say there's still, a lot of cause for optimism. And in these urban markets where there's events, I think that will continue to be a massive driver too.
That's very cool. You can't do any interview without mentioning the Taylor Swift effect. I mean, it's just and I didn't. That was completely unprompted. So fair play. Yeah, I think good point. Good point that there are lots of reasons to be optimistic in the urban market. That's just making some people who aren't as well backed or making as much headway as you think twice about it. What are we seeing next? Where are you seeing the growth opportunities for Stasher? Outside of acquisitions, what's happening in the next few months?
On the theme of events, obviously you've got the Euros, you've got the Olympics coming up. Those are two ones we're pretty excited about. And you did ask about acquisitions earlier, so I think there's always other opportunities like that on the cards, and a few that we're eyeing up. But the bigger theme, I suppose, is just, and it's a fairly bland answer, but it's more of the same. I think ever since we sort of found we hit product market before COVID, and then ever since we found it again, rebuilding after COVID, it's really just doubling down on the strategy of what works. And we know that the most important thing for us is to build a product that people really love, and will come back to and use again and again on their travels, or when they're going to events, or possibly even more so in their daily lives as it becomes more and more affordable. So, we'll always be adding locations to the network and looking for new ways to reach more customers, whether that's just the sort of traditional SEO or adding partnerships with people in the vacation rental industry. It's doing more of the same.
Great. Jacob, thanks for hopping on, and thanks for telling us about the deal. Congrats.
Thank you so much, Leo. It's a pleasure to be here. Cheers.
Want to stop juggling spreadsheets, calendars, and a dozen apps just to run your rentals? Logify makes it easy. It's an all-in-one toolkit for hosts. Build a direct booking website, automate guest messaging, and keep all your channels in sync. Running your rental business your way has never been simpler. And for Good Morning Hospitality listeners, you can get 20% off any yearly plan with code GMH20. Just check the link in the show notes to get started today.